So now it's time to finish the bug. We're going to figure out the front hood, the tire, the 3 lines for the front wheel well, the lines that connect those lines, and draw these last 2 lines at the bottom of the car. So we started with the hood. The pivot point, the center point of the circle for the hood is right here, and that's at 350, 290, and then the width of the circle that we would be working from is 240, same for the height. And then I have it at 290 degrees because it's only starting up here, going to about 350 degrees because 360 degrees would be a perfect line right there. And we have the outer line, which is going to intersect with the hood. So that's 390, 280, that's the point of my center point of my tire. And it's 120 by 120, and it's going from 170, it's below the 180 degree mark, to 325 because it's stopping up here. The middle line is 390, 280, 100 by 100, and it's going from 170 degrees, again just below the 180 mark, over to just about 360 degrees. And then we've got the inside one. I think I have a mistake here because one of these 355 and one's 360. I think I adjusted the code for that. The inner one's 390 and 280 for the XY, 70 by 70, and then it's 170 degrees to 355 degrees. And then my tire is an ellipse, so it's 390, 280, 60 by 60. And the line towards the car I figure is 350, 300, 325, 300. And then my bumper line right here I have is 430, 290, 450, 280. And then I have my inside bottom line, this one right here, is 170, 270, 320, 270. And I have the outside or bottom line as 170, 280, 320, 280. So those are the final lines for the car. So you can see I actually sketched out, and I could consider this sketching of my notes to be pseudocoded. So just an outline of the code I have to put in. It's not the actual code. It's not written in proper syntax, but it does describe to me the logic that I need to go through. And this is how I would typically plan something. When I program it, there's always some adjustments. So I typed in this code, and you can see that it's not quite right. But here I have my hood. Really, the only thing that's pretty far off are these lines right here, which is not too bad. And I think I actually want to bring the hood down slightly further here. So let's look at the hood. And you can see that it's well marked here. Let's bring that actually down to 360 degrees. Now I could test this right now, or I could fix the other lines. Whatever is easier. I think I went too far. So we'll say 355 degrees. It'll bring it in line with the others. That's not bad. Now see, the way I have it drawn, the hood, these two should be intersecting. So I need to actually probably move the center point of my hood in more towards the car. So to do that, let's see, my hood I had it 350 and 280. Let's just move it back a little and see what happens. Let's try 330. And you should be, when you're making changes like this, testing it. Oops, too far. So let's try 340. You know, I think it actually looked better at the original 350. What I may want to do is move my front wheel well over. So that actually looks about right, but I think I can move this a little bit further over. So that would mean moving the center point. So I'm going to finish these lines last. So that's moving the center point further forward here. So if I want to move the center point to the right, we can try changing this to 410 for each of the arcs. And again, that's the X point of your center. It seems to be at the right Y point. That actually matches just about what I drew. So So I'm going to have to adjust these other lines. So this line is going to have to come up and over and be at less of an angle. So that line, it's the bumper line. So up, we'll say that's 280. That's almost level instead of being at an angle. So we'll say that that's probably 435 for each. No, that should be 4. It needs to come over to the right. This is my x coordinates. Let's say that's off probably. We'll say 445, 280, 280, and we'll say this one's 460, and we'll give it a wrong variable. Better, but not long enough and not high enough. So that means this has to come up about 5 to 75. And it needs to be longer, so we'll say 475. Alright, so that's pretty close. When we change the line width in next week's work, it'll be just about right. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, let's close that. And then we needed to fix this line going towards the body. And so that's got to come up, over, and be at an angle. So let's do up. So we're going to want to make that 265 and probably 260 to put it at an angle. It'll be up. And we need to move it over about 25 points. Ooh, that's not where I want it at all. You can change. Oh, and that's way too far. I was changing the wrong one. Well, that's bad. I wonder if we can undo on this. Let's see where that takes us. I may have gone too far back. Okay, so I just need to move these up slightly. Gotta be careful with that. Make sure, there we go. So I want to be adjusting this one. So I want to take this up about 10. And on an angle. And I want to move it over about 25. And let's see how that looks. Actually, I have made improvements. It needs to go higher still. And then X here needs to be much closer. We'll say 100. And stop and play. Well, I took it the wrong way. 50. Stop and play. Because I have these actually written in the wrong order for my X and my Y. I'm changing this point instead of the other one. Easy to do. So 450 is right here, so this should actually end 130, so 320. Too far. So that actually is right where I want it to start. So here I want this to be 350. Or we can just flip it and make this 325, and this should be 385. I'm a little dyslexic, and you'll see that come up. Okay, so the starting point should be 355. There we go. Okay, and then we want to make that a little bit of an angle. Not bad. We actually want to make that 350, and we want to go to 380. Not bad. That's not bad. Yep, that's about what I wanted. Okay, so I just need to make these lines a little longer. So that's my bottom of the car. The heights seem to be fine. They need to start back earlier. They need to go further over, right to about 350. You're always going to make some adjustments. There. Okay, so I have a bug. I actually think the windows would look better further up, but this is good enough for right now. We'll keep working with this next week. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about some of the other options the book goes into. I want you to know that the order matters here, because if I drew that first arc for the body, if I took that and I were to put it down here, you would see that it would completely mess it up and do this wonderful thing. The other thing that you can do is if you're having trouble, I undid, but I didn't undo far enough. Okay, the other thing that you need to know is that if you're having problems with an area, you need to turn off part of it to figure out what's going wrong. Let's say we want to see what it looks like behind the wheel. One of the things you can do is you can comment out code to help debug it. And if you need to comment out a whole bunch of code, you can do that. Let's say we want to get rid of the whole front of the car by putting a slash and a star, and then that actually takes it to the end, but you can stop the comment by doing a star then a slash. And that makes the whole program ignore it. So you can, if you need to test an area, you can block out part of the code that you don't want to look at. So that's another way to use comments, is in helping you debug. So you should be creating this and putting it into your notebook. Now obviously you aren't going to take a picture of this code, so you can simply Control A or Command A, copy, and you can put it into your notebook that way.